Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation for business owners. This is your host, Lorraine Ball. And if you're like me, you find yourself working really hard on your business. But if you do that for too long, you're going to burn out. And that's what we're going to talk about today. My guest, Rob Tracz, has dedicated his life to guiding driven entrepreneurs through the transformative journey from stagnation to sustained success. He has a background in exercise science and years of experience as a performance coach. And he's developed this Prime Performance Coaching program that blends physical, mental, and emotional development that helps entrepreneurs achieve holistic success. Rob, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I am super excited to have you. And before the show, we were talking about a lot of different things, but I really loved this idea of from burnout to breakthrough. Um, Thinking about how you make that transition from I'm at the breaking point, I can't do this anymore, to really breaking through. Where does that transition start?
Really, it's going to start with yourself and more specifically, self-awareness, paying attention to really where you're at. How far into burnout are you? How much more room do you kind of have, like wiggle room? And where is it that you want to get back to? Without knowing those things, it's really difficult to kind of get out of that burnout phase.
Okay, I'm in the middle of this. It feels like the walls are closing in. And you said I need to figure out where am I in my burnout journey?
Mhm.
How do I know?
It's kind of looking at you look at what you've been taking on recently. How long have you been taking on all these different challenges and these different stressors? And how much longer are you anticipating to endure those? If you don't have a deadline or an end goal in sight, that makes it infinitively more impossible for you to overcome this burnout. So setting some kind of a deadline or some kind of end date for you to achieve helps start things off. But then also you want to kind of dive in to see how much more wiggle room, how much more can you endure? And you really figure that out by reflecting on the different challenges and things that you've gone through, because you know what you can handle and how much, because you've gone through everything. You've successfully survived 100% of the challenges you've overcome and gone through. So you're the only one who can really determine how much more you can handle. And if your deadline's too far and you're pushing too close, it might be time to bump that deadline up and take a little bit breather sooner than rather than later.
You know, it's so funny when you were talking about deadlines. I remember when I was in grad school and I had two young children and I lived 13 weeks at a time. I could take on all the stress, I could do whatever I needed to, knowing that in 13 weeks it was all over and I was going to get a break. And so I can totally see how knowing that there's an end can really help. What if, like you said, this is going to go for a while, for whatever it is that's creating this stress? How can you relieve some of that pressure? Where's the safety valve that I can turn to help me get to that breakthrough moment?
There's a couple different strategies, but the most important one that I would dive into first is to look at your support system, or your team triangle, is what I like to refer to. I have this framework where at the top of the triangle is your coach. This is who you learn from, the guy that you try to model your life after. This is the person you can go to seek advice or answers for the questions that you're going through during this burnout phase. The next level down to that triangle across the middle are your captains. These are the individuals that you earn with or that you can lean on, most importantly for collaboration, to help you get through things and really help you move that needle forward when it comes push to shove and it's a tough time. And then finally, the base of that triangle is the crowd. And those are everybody who's cheering you on from the sidelines, want you to succeed. And anytime you need a little extra boost of motivation, these are the people that you call up. So as a reminder, you've got your coach at the top, you've got your captains in the middle, and you've got the crowd on the bottom cheering you on.
That's fabulous that you have those three different groups. And what I get from that description is that you can ask them for different types of support. Your coach is going to be, I guess, more specific, and
Mhm.
the crowd is great for a hug.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I'm turning to some of these people and working through some of these issues. What helps me get to that turning point? Now, I feel like I've got my hands around the stress. I'm starting to get my footing back. But how do I get to that next level where I really break through?
Yeah, again, there's going to be a couple of different factors to kind of determine exactly the right move to take the next step. But more chances than not, it's going to become some sort of efficiency or inefficiency. And then this is where I really like to enhance on my rules and my routines. So slowing things down, you want to compress all the variables that are at play and really focus in on one or two things that you can really dive into. I love this approach because it allows me to look at everything that I've got going on and really like define what's the most important so I can take action on those. And then from there, if it's difficult to kind of, if you're not in the right space or the right mindset at the time, you can always delegate out if you're in a situation where you can, or you can slow the process down and extend it or shorten those timelines to better accommodate how you're going through life and the current challenges.
That phrase, slowing things down, I think is so important because it really plays into the idea that you need to take control, that you need to set the timeline and not let the timelines dictate to you. And that is a really powerful concept.
Yeah. If you're constantly falling victim to other deadlines and other external things, you've really created a job for yourself instead of this business that you're operating or you're having operate for you. So it's you got to make sure that you're in control, exactly like you said.
And, earlier, before we went on the air, you were talking about this idea of looking good, feeling good, and doing great things. How do those three elements work together to help you get to that breakthrough?
Yeah, I love this question. So the looking good, feeling good, and doing great things is really the three phases of my coaching program. In the looking good, it's all about expanding that comfort zone, building that physical and mental and emotional resilience so you can handle the ups and downs roller coaster ride of entrepreneurship. And the second half of that coin is the intentional consumption. So once we start fueling yourself with the right foods and media too, because it's not just your meals that you're consuming, it's the media, the content, the music, those things. That really gets you looking good and energized and feeling strong. Then we shift into that feeling good state where now we gain clarity on where we're going and what we're trying to achieve, really understanding who we are and the goals that we're trying to accomplish. And the second half of that one is that efficiency principle that I kind of mentioned a minute ago, where we optimize the rules and the routines. Because then once you're looking good and then you're feeling good, moving efficiently towards your goal, it's time to start doing great things. And you do that by surrounding yourself with great people, like pointing towards that team triangle I was referencing earlier. And then also how to create your own luck, where you can really start to seize the opportunities when they arise.
Awesome. Rob, this is fabulous information. And I am going to encourage anyone, if you're listening to the show and you'd like to learn more, definitely connect with Rob Tracy. And you can find him at robtracy.com, ROBTRACZ.com. He's also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And he's got a podcast called Surviving the Side Hustle. Rob, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Oh, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Absolutely was. And if you've enjoyed this conversation and are looking for other resources for your business, head over to morethanafewwords.com. You'll find hundreds of conversations just like this, as well as workbooks, webinars, white papers, and so much more. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.